Matching car and track data found in Sim Experience database. Profile modified.
Slow down to give back the time gained. That lap time was 1:26.74. This lap won't count, you've cut the track. Invalidate this lap. Track limits.
Matching car and track data found in Sim Experience database. Profile modified.
Just done a 126.78. Just done a 126.87. Sector 3 time is quick. 1 time is good. Sector 2 is a 10th off your best. Just done a 127.07. You're currently 0.29 off your best. Sector 1 time's okay. Sector 2 is 0.30 off your best. Your lap time was 127.14. You're now 0.36, slower than your best. Sector 1 is quick. That was 126.44. Sector 3 time is fast. That lap was a 126.79. Sector 3 is 0.37 off your best. To watch the track limits. Sector 1 is 0.6 off your best. That lap was a 127.15. Sector 3 is 0.2 off your best. You're outside of track limits there. Sector 1 is a 10th off your pace. Sector 2 is a tenth off your best. That lap time was 1:26.88. That puts you 0.44 slower than your best. Sector 1 is quick. Your Sector 2 time is quick. That was a 1:26.50. Sector 3 is a tenth off your best. Your lap time was a 1:26.82. Sector 3 is 0.38, slower than your best. Your last lap time was a 1:27.00. Sector 3 time's okay. Sector 1 is 2/10 off your best. Sector 2 is 1/10 off your best. Well, that was a 126.68. You're currently 0.24 off your best. Sector 1 is 2/10 off your best.
Matching car and track data found in Sim Experience database. Profile modified.
Pit exit looks clear.
Like your wheels, Stefan. Nice match.
Thank you, Peter.
Nice design altogether.
Your quickest overall.
Yo, yo.
Oh.
What's going on? Alright, good.
My crash today.
You get one today?
It's just done 125, 122. You're running last.
You're probably good for another 2
3
hours.
times as fast.
Yeah, I've never seen Scott like that upset. He's just like, this fucking sucks or this fucking shit or something like that. It just disconnected. Like, oh shit.
Yesterday?
I guess, yeah, the second
Oh, wow.
race. I guess it got
taken
really
out
gnarly
twice
there.
in the one lap. Twice in one lap. To the point where I'm like, I'm here to practice race. And, you know, if I'm just going around, driving around by myself, I don't really.
Yeah.
You know, it's just so silly, man. Come on. Anyway. I watched the video. More. I checked my data against Chris Hill. Try some of that out.
So what happened in the
You're
second
10th off
race,
the pace
Scott?
in Sector 2.
Yeah, second race. So I forget who was next to me. I won't say Nicholas.
Okay.
And he was, you know, and he just moved over as if I'm not there. And pushing up the track, and of course he flipped the rear, so I spun. Then I was coming around on 8 or something.
Yeah.
The antenna goes off, and it spins, and all you have to do is stop in the middle of the road. Instead of
You're now
moving
0.23 off the
right
pace.
onto my racing line, so I T-boned it perfectly. My car was undrivable. Oh. Not today.
Well, I think my lesson from all the craziness is that just be super careful on the first lap, even if that means giving up one position. But I know you were. I'm just saying in general, right? It's just gonna be, it's gonna be even worse than yesterday because it's just an actual race now. So
there's gonna be more people. Yeah.
More people, more hard-ons. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I want you to make sure you give up that spot to me, Peter, on the first lap.
Dean,
I'm not arguing that, but
if it makes me faster, I will.
No, it'll slow you down because I'll be like 10 cars behind you.
Well, I don't know about that,
okay.
man. You got good pace, and I did spend a lot of time on the track here this week, so I feel like I know it well. But you know how it is. It's like sometimes when the expectations are too high, you get too excited, and then it ends up bringing with it too much pressure.
Oh yeah. I'm watching you drive down here.
Hello.
Oh, man.
Evening, guys.
Hey,
Howdy, mate.
Michael.
You need to find a 10th in Sector 3.
You guys talking about turn 1 on the race?
We're talking about turn 1, and just generally speaking, I think the first lap. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I hear you when giving up the spot just to save the lap. It's probably a good idea.
Be safe, right? Because if you screw up that first lap and you fall back, it's like, you know, you've given up 2, 3, maybe 4 spots, and then your car is damaged, and it's not worth it.
Hard to get back, for sure.
So Scott, I usually go through that first right-hander in second, but I stayed in third, and it was faster actually.
Yeah, yes, I agree with that. And Chris Hill was doing the same thing. And he goes through second in the chicane.
Sector 2 time is good.
Right where you are.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
what I do too.
I was doing it in third gear, and
You can, you just get a slightly better exit out of it.
okay. I mean, he's a master on the exit, so.
And
I'm
yeah.
When you do that turn play,
And
I'm
also-
having trouble with that one.
I was gonna add, Scott, the second gear is gonna help you turn in as well. You know, that initial, just because it's gonna pull you toward the center of the rotation. So try it in second.
Dang, here.
Your quickest overall. Sector 3 is 2/10 off the pace.
I don't see Discord. Who's that talking? Hey, Clint.
All right, I'm gonna hop in the car. Oh, is that you?
No, I'm gonna follow
Sector
you.
1 time is good.
Yes. Scott, do you ever figure out how to change tires? When we loaded into that race, I was still stuck at 80%.
Every time I get a new car, I get fresh tires. It's never been an issue. Like, I don't even pay attention.
That's strange, Clint, because I checked mine and I was at 100%, so it should have given you the tires. I don't know why it
Every
wouldn't.
time.
Why would just give you or keep you all tires just for you? That seems strange.
Yeah, I kept waiting for like iRacing to reset on the black box at each lap. They just got lower and lower.
Oh.
Maybe after qualifying, just to make sure that you're good, just jump out of the car altogether.
Yeah, I might have to do that.
Are you going down to second here, Scott?
Yes, that's what I noticed.
You're 2/10 off the pace in sector 3.
And really try to straight on as much as possible. And I need to brake early here. Woo! Alright, go ahead. Nice and cloudy today.
Yeah,
My kind of weather.
actually feels pretty good, or looks good. Should keep the track nice and cool too.
That's what I was thinking.
Did you set it, or was it auto-generated?
It's auto. When the sun comes up. Ah!
Where'd you go, Scott?
Yep. Go ahead, Mike. Inside.
Thanks, Scott.
You're 1/10 off the pace in sector 3. Just done a 124.83.
Nice time, Michael.
Thank you. It seems that it's faster today. Than
It does seem faster. Yeah,
Yeah.
by about a half tenth. I mean, half a second.
Well, we've been practicing 3 days.
Well, that probably has something to do with it, the 100th lap that we all just turned, but I think the cooler weather helps.
P3, that puts you 0.5 off the pace. That last lap was a 125.36.
I'm really starting to enjoy it. I think it's true of any track, right, where you spend enough laps, but I wasn't really into it initially.
Yeah, the fact that Brian was doing 124 yesterday.
Yeah,
Figuring
he's
out
gonna be
how it's
lightning
going.
fast.
Well, he's not going to be driving today, so.
I thought he is.
I don't think so.
The leader's
Yeah, he
just
said
done a
he's gonna be back
124.34.
today.
You've got half your
Yakov,
fuel
I think,
left.
is out because of hardware issues. But Brian has these calls on
The guy
Wednesday
behind has
nights.
just done a
So
125.59.
I think that's all. I think on Thursdays is true. This is more important than work. At least one day a week.
We need to find a 10th in sector 2.
Yeah, I gotta get his priorities straight.
That's right.
Where you going, Dean?
I'm
Over
just,
here.
mowing the grass.
I got you.
How much did I pay for that?
Yeah, I had to pay them.
89 cents.
Bring your own car.
Yep.
P4, that puts you 0.9 off the leader's pace. That lap was a 125.20.
What? Stefan did a 24.3. Holy shit.
Nice lap, Stefan.
I think he's on.
Now delete this lap. You've cut the track.
Is he not on Discord? Maybe he's
No, I
iRacing?
don't think he is. He's on iRacing, but not on Discord.
Usually he's not. Correct. The fast guys don't want to be here. Distracted.
Too much jibber jabber.
That's off point. A second on those hairpins, that sucks.
Yeah, man, same here. It's the right hand.
I would have been a 124 flat.
Wow. Fast. By the end of the race, you'll probably figure it out.
My qualifying setup on.
I feel like if you have triples, it would make finding that apex so much easier.
Nope.
Not working for me.
Not if you don't look. Howdy.
That looked bad.
Old
You
track
okay?
tips today, huh?
Yeah. Not by design, though. It just kind of happened.
Be interesting.
It actually feels good. Guys are
Well, yeah.
fast.
I mean, once the tires warm up,
Yeah. It's like half second faster.
yeah.
Get him, Scott.
Ah, I'm trying.
Here I come.
Yeah, go in the middle. There you go. 3 wide. 3 wide. That's your thing.
And what could go wrong?
Yeah, can't go wrong there. Whoa, now I'm spinning. Safe it. Got it. Good practice. I did not hit anyone. Alright, go inside, Chris.
Sorry. Missed my braking a little bit there.
Yep. Hold on. Yep. Whatever you want. I'm gonna lift,
All right, thank you.
Yep. Look at that. Ah.
All clear. Push now.
Try to be patient.
I'm terrible at it.
Trying to be patient.
Patient, patient, patient.
Vengeance. Yep. It's tempting to get on the gas early.
Car left. He's still there. Clear left. The guy behind has just done a 128.46.
Saw you on my relative, Scott.
Track limits, keep it within the lines.
Come on! Go, go, go!
P5. Sector 1 time's okay. Sector 2 time is good. P4, good lap. That's your quickest today. Sector 3 is 0.25 off the pace.
Sorry, stuff up.
Yellow flag, caution. Sector 1 is quick. Your sector 2 time is quick. Your lap time was at 125.13. Car right. Right side's clear. You're now 0.9 off the leader's pace. Sector 3 is 0.9 off the pace. You're a 10th off in Sector 1. Track limits. Watch your speed limit in the pits. Track's clear. Push, push, push.
Wow, that's a tight pack so far. I hadn't really looked at the times for a bit there, but there's like 6 of us within 3/10. And then of course, Fakachi hasn't thrown down anything yet, so
Oh, that's right. Wait for 8:15. Whoop, go ahead.
E5. Sector 2 time is okay. Sector 3 is 0.31 off the pace. This lap will be invalidated. Watch the track limits. New fastest lap for Hill, 124.26.
yeah, followed by my little spit out in turn 1. Looking for the rallycross track.
There's a car rejoining. Sector 1 is 0.27 off the pace.
25.9.
You're a tenth off the pace in sector 2. Currently 1.7 off the pace. That lap time was 126.00. Sector 1 is 0.32 off the pace. You've got 10 minutes of fuel remaining. You're a tenth off the pace in sector 2. You're currently 0.7 off the pace. Sector 3 is 0.36 off the pace. Sector 1 is 0.27 off the pace. Your sector 2 time is quick. They'll delete this lap, track limits. Fastest lap for Hill, 124.19. Watch your speed.
Man, everybody must be logging in late, huh?
Bunch of guys sitting on.
Watch your mirrors, there's a car approaching.
Yeah, I'm just looking at how many are here. We had more on Tuesday night practice. Think about it. Almost about the same. And hopefully a few more show.
Clear left. approach these track limits. We estimate you've got 5 minutes of fuel remaining. That's your fastest lap today. You're now 0.32 off the pace. Sector 3 times okay. Track limits, they'll invalidate this lap. We're running on fumes, mate. Coming to the pits at the end of this lap. Box this lap.
I want to go side by side, man.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'll come back out. I'll meet you at the terminal.
Break into the 124s for my optimism there. Close.
124.
You're 2/10 off the pace in sector 2. Very little fuel left. In this lap, box this lap. 2 litres remaining.
Uh-oh. All the aliens are coming out today.
Look out for the pit speed limit.
What side of the track you want, Dean?
All of it.
Alright. Go ahead, go ahead. On the inside. This is where we need the practice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll go on the outside if you want to go on the inside, or I'll go... Like each turn we should just rotate. So here we are, simulation down the straight.
Sounds like an HPD exercise. Leapfrogging.
Oh no.
Oh, you can go through the poles.
Yeah, it's like an inflatable
a
balloon.
little bit.
Yeah. It's not a pipe.
All clear on pit exit, you can push now. Disengage limiter.
Go ahead, please. Go, go.
wide.
Sector 1 is 0.26 off the pace. You've gone outside of track limits there.
Just in case we gotta do that later.
Just in case. Is the weather random, or did you,
P4.
It made it rain.
Is it raining?
Yellow flag.
must be, it's out in the grass.
British weather.
Oh, go, go, go. Picking up all the dirt.
Sector 1 is
Yeah.
0.42 off the pace.
Oh, oh, yep, yep, yep.
Yep.
Ah. Pete, I'm waiting for you. Oh, I want to go side by side.
Left side, clear left.
Over here was Darren.
Yellow flag, watch out.
Looking in my mirror, missed my braking point.
Are you looking in the mirror? There's nobody behind you.
Yeah.
That puts you 1.3 seconds off the pace. That lap time was 125.48.
Oh, here comes the sun.
Guys, you cover roll.
That's the end of the session, P4. The track temp's increasing. It's now 23 Celsius. Pit exit is clear. You've got 19 minutes to set a lap.
Go ahead, Andy.
The track temperature is increasing. It's now 25 Celsius.
Go right, Chris.
Just done a 140.53. Sector 1 time's okay. The leader has just done a 136.24. You've just done a 125.27. The leader has just done a 124.94. Front lap time is at 125.02. The guy ahead has just done a 125.10. Sector 2 time is good. Sector 3 is 0.38 off the pace. That's a new fastest lap for Shield, 124.59. You're a tenth off the pace in Sector 1. Just done a 124.53. Sector 2 is 2/10 off the pace. That's your quickest lap in this session. Sector 3 time is quick.
Thanks, John. You go right.
leader has just done a 124.29. You're 2/10 off the pace in sector 1. Sector 2 is 0.25 off the pace. What's your speed limit in the pits? The guy behind has just done a 124.94. There's traffic behind, keep your wits about you. Blue flag. Blue flag. P5. The guy behind has just done a 124.84. Track limits, this lap will be deleted. Sector 1 time is good. Sector 2 time is okay.
Thanks, Sam.
That puts you 0.6 off the leader's pace. Sector 3 is 0.6 off the pace. You're 0.2 off the pace in Sector 1. Yellow flag. You're 1/10 off the pace in Sector 2. Fastest lap for Hill, 124.23. Look out for the pit speed limit. There's traffic behind. Blue flag. On your right, right side's clear. B7. track limits. This lap will be deleted.
Thanks anyway, Darren.
The leader has just done a 124.21. You're now 0.6 off the pace. That lap was at 124.78. You're 0.2 off the pace in sector 1. Need to find a tent in sector 2. Yellow flag, watch out.
Good luck, Jasper.
Yes, good luck.
yellow flag.
Good luck, everyone.
Good luck, guys.
That's the end of the session. P9.
Good luck. Nice lap, Steve. Nice lap. Huh?
E9, the track temp is 24 Celsius. Follow car number 14 in the right column.
Gee, we finally got to go 2 wide in the chicane.
Floor it. Okay, let's find a good rhythm, make some places. Hill is now leading. incident in Goddard's. It looks like Shield. Yellow flag. Keep your wits about you, mate. The car ahead has just done a 125.09 P8. Well done, mate, that was great. Fastest lap for Hill, 124.71. The car ahead has just done a 124.88, P7. The gap behind is now 1.3. That's a new fastest lap for Hill, 124.48. The gap in front is now 2.1 seconds. Our refueling window will open after 13 minutes and closes after 27 minutes. Good consistency. Keep them coming. The gap ahead is now 2.3 seconds.
Go around, my steering's broken.
Seventh position. You've just done a 125.80. The gap in front is now 2.9. That's half fuel. You've used half your fuel. now 5.8. Is now 1.7. The pit window is now open. Ten minutes of fuel remaining. Front is now 1.8. You've just done a 125.79. That was 125.43. reeling this guy in. The gap's now 1.5 seconds. That's 20 minutes to go. Keep digging. Car right, clear right. We're halfway home. We think about 6 minutes of fuel remaining. The guy behind's reeling you in. The gap's now 2.2 seconds. B6. I think P3 has binned it in Goddard's. That's 5 minutes of fuel left. 8th place. Stewards have warned us about track limits. Keep it between the lines. You're reeling this car in. The gap's now 0.7. Right. Hold your line. Clear right. Car right. Hold your line. Still there. Clear right. The leader, Hill, is pitting. Right side. Still there. Clear right. Left side. Clear left. Car right. There's a car exiting the pits. Heads up. Clear right. We're running on fumes, mate. Hit this lap. In this lap. P4. Your lap time was 1:27.00. Minutes left, that's 15 minutes. Left side, clear left. I think P4's gone off in the old hairpin.
Sorry, Darren, I was trying to let you go past. That's alright, no worries.
2 litres remaining. Very little fuel left. Hit this lap, in this lap.
There, I'm hitting.
Car right. Clear right. Come on, don't let him get away. One litre remaining. Watch your speed. The pit lane speed limit is 60 kilometers per hour. We'll fuel you to the end of the race.
Come on, I'm pitting.
There's traffic behind, take care.
Putting up.
You're reeling wood in. The gap's now 2.5. There's an incident in. Looks like it's wood. P8. Away. The gap behind is now 4.0. Looks like P4 has gone off in Melbourne hairpin. 10 minutes to go. That's 10 minutes left. Gap to Fletcher ahead is now 6.2.
Guys, you can let us go. That works.
The guy behind's catching. The gap's now 6.0. They're quicker than us entering the S's. Got 10 minutes of fuel remaining. That lap was a 125.46. Place. The gap to Fletcher in front is now 5.6 seconds. 5 minutes remaining, 5 minutes left. Last lap time was at 1:26.00. To Fletcher ahead is now 4.7 seconds. Just 2 minutes left, 2 minutes to go. That was a 1:25.55. Five minutes of fuel remaining, 5 minutes. One more lap to go. That lap was a 1:25.75. That's 2 minutes left. 2 minutes.
Good job, Chris.
Good job, Chris.
There's an incident in Hollywood. We think it might be Hill.
Good race.
There's an incident in Redgate. Looks like it's Shield.
Nice run, Michael.
Yeah, nice run, Stefan. That's great race, man.
P8. That's the end of the race. Never mind.
You didn't make that easy, Stefan. That was hard, man.
Somehow I tend to do a little bit better in that car versus like some of the real alien guys than I do with a lot of other cars, and I have no idea why, but I tend to be a little closer. So
they're not quite as set. Well, when I say not quite set dependent, like a good set on that will run pretty much at any track, whereas on the GTs you kind of have to tinker a bit to get those extra tenths. So they're a little bit more vanilla.
Where's the
track?
Oh, he's up there.
Ah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've just
stressful.
Somehow it kind of suits my style a little bit, I guess. If I can get it loose enough too. I mean, that's the thing is I keep having to crank the bias back and back and back and back. Yeah, to be happy at least. But.
Yeah, they're pretty even. My one of my teammates has spent a lot of time testing and doing some comparison stuff, and yeah, I mean the Honda at the moment is definitely the one that's the potato. It's got really shit damping. So you get
sure.
like really bad death hops over some of the big curbs. So.
Well, yeah, I remember the first time I drove that at Knock Hill or whatever, and went through the first turn and kind of jumped the curb, and I was like, "Holy freaking pogo stick here! What's going on?"
It just bottoms out and then fires you off into the wall.
Yeah.
But on flat tracks, it's actually okay. It's got some pretty good pace, kind of mid-range, and then it kind of is a little bit off. The Hyundai is probably
that's the one I'm
strongest. The Audi
kind of run the most, you know.
Has got a lot of torque, so it kind of pulls pretty well once it's got the traction up to the top end. So,
yeah,
good for wheel-to-wheel racing.
Yeah, as long as people don't, crash into you and do stupid stuff like they tend to do in that series. That's the only bummer is it's not the nicest series for clean racing. At least whenever I jump into them, it seems that way. So.
What class is that?
Or I have a TCR.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, typically those type of cars are great for league racing because you can control the grids, the kind of the consequences if people drive a bit overzealous. Yeah, no, they're a blast.
Yeah, I was saying when they first came out, I was like, bummer there isn't a mini TCR, and that they didn't release it if there was one, because that would be fun to have as like a, another or one series or something, so we could have it for the BMW League for one season. That would be super fun. But they don't have any BMW branded anything. So if the intention is to stay with BMW branding, then that wouldn't work.
Unfortunately, with the TCR, the regulations is that there's no rear-wheel drive allowed.
Oh, right. So yeah, it'd have to be
full spec
mini.
So full spec touring cars, then rear-wheel drive is also you are allowed rear-wheel drive. So in the British touring cars, you've got BMW 3 Series as kind of the spec car. But yeah, shame, but it'd be good to have those, but it just doesn't seem likely at the moment.
Yeah. Do they? I don't think Mini even makes a TCR car of any sort, right? I know there's a couple other manufacturers that we don't have yet, but I
You
don't
got
think they do.
like the Golf, so you can get a TCR Golf spec. I think the
Yeah.
Seat, that's also one. I think there's one other. I can't think off the top of my head. I don't.
Well, I saw there's an Alpha. I think it's an Alpha, if I remember correctly, or at least it's coming. Let me see here.
Hey, can anybody stream or do we need to review anything?
I'd like to see that almost incident that you and I had.
Oh yeah, that.
I'd like to volunteer myself as tribute
yeah,
going into the old hairpin, but something may have been on me. But in the spirit of being open, I think if you're going to go review, I'd rather volunteer my guiltiness.
All right.
Now, I don't know. I mean, it was kind of getting down to the old hairpin. We banged doors. I carried on. I don't know who I hit because I didn't have my relative up.
Okay. Can anybody stream?
I'm trying to
You don't
figure it
mind?
out, Scott, but I
Could
can't figure it out with my
try.
triples.
I mean, I saved the
Dean's
replay.
working on it.
So. Oh, okay.
I can't figure it out with the triples. I don't know how to make it.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing is I have the triples too.
You got to run OBS or like a streaming software, so it picks up just a screen, and then you can stream that screen, so it doesn't go to the triple format. If that makes sense.
Makes sense. I don't have that, so maybe somebody else can do it.
Peter, do you know how to stream over Discord?
I do, but I closed the replay.
Okay.
Also, Peter, you gave me some serious brown trousers.
What lap was it, Andy?
I'm having a gander now.
Oh, okay.
I'm just fast forwarding it through. I mean, I can open mine, but I'm on triples.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, let me do that because.
Sure.
I didn't realize. So apparently there's a Subaru TCR car.
Let's have a look.
Yes, I found a list of them.
Subaru TCR. Well, is it the wagon?
It shows it as so it's labeled as a Subaru WRX STI TCR. So I'm guessing that they must like get rid of the rear portion of the drive and just make it front drive or something.
I know they raced a wagon over in the British touring car.
My my teammate in the my Ash is he owns kind of Pure Sims, so he that's his car. So
who is it?
Ash
Sutton?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So he's a good friend of mine.
Get out of here. That's cool.
Yeah, he's an absolute lunatic.
Didn't he win the championship either last year or the year before?
Yeah, he won it this year and last year. So
he's no
he's
joke.
quite the. That's why I've been doing a lot of TCRs because we've been bombing round as a team, like round Knockhill, and just being horrible to each other on track. Put each other in the walls, and nice, good racing, but just we're not particularly nice to each other on track.
He was an animal in the races I watched.
Yeah, he's got some skills. Like I've watched him kind of come through grassroots and whatnot, and everyone. He's got quite a lot of people who are kind of the naysayers, but he's been in a few different cars, and he's demonstrated that he can drive anything fast. He really can. So I'm kind of excited to see what he does this year in the touring cars. So if he can make it 3 in a row, that would be pretty unprecedented.
Yeah, what did he run in 2021?
The Infinity.
The Infinity, that's right. Yeah, I've been watching it on YouTube. Yeah.
So his teammate Aidan Moffat.
Adam. Yeah.
He's been doing a lot of work with him in the sim, like on iRacing. They've actually been using the Porsche Cup as kind of their car because actually that drives surprisingly very similar to how his touring car drives. He said there's some similarities, so it's easy from a driver tuition for him, like compared to what he's getting through the wheel. So ever since he spent time with Aidan, doing that, his performance throughout the season's been, noticeably better, or certainly improved to kind of where he was last year. So, people say,
hey, Andy, if you hit
out the Sims, but
if you hit escape, you can get out of the triple and it'll be in one screen.
If I hit escape
and just put it into like windowed mode.
I could actually do no, because I run Ifinity, so I could go into the options and see because it is in. I can shrink it down, but I don't think it will.
Okay.
Let me hold on a second. Let me see if that
Because
works.
I'm running triple. I mean, I'm running triples with NVIDIA, but if I hit escape, it then just puts
Hold
it to
on.
a
Let
single.
me just quickly.
It doesn't
like,
matter.
Let's see if that kind of does the.
Yeah, I got a single screen. I was able to get it open.
There we go. That's
see if-
better.
See if
Is
that
that better?
works.
Who's
Abs.
streaming?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Andy's
that
got
looks
it.
normal.
Oh, there we
Yeah,
go.
that looks good.
Yeah, much better.
Okay. Okay. So, what view do you guys want to see? It's like
Yeah,
shocking.
I was right behind this. I saw this happen.
Yeah. So I got. Well, I don't know what kind of you want to see, Rich. Do you want to go from this angle? Full speed, slow motion. What do you prefer?
Was that a
You
rip?
tell me.
Sure. Well, yeah. Well.
A nice hip
Nice.
check.
Looks
Yeah.
like neither of you made the corner.
Yeah, I
You
think
made the
like,
berm.
Max.
I think I think that's probably.
Did
on
he
me.
get Verstappen?
I don't know.
Oh,
I think that
looks
might
like
be on
it,
me.
yeah.
I kind of I think I missed my break in my.
That looks more like a Hamilton to me, personally.
That is Hamilton.
Ah.
So I was always moving out, so that's probably on me. To be honest, I'll hold my hands up.
Yeah, I
But
think
I
your
missed my
trajectory
breaking marker.
would have got you to the track out there.
I think you'll find that I was putting all the locks on coming through
Nick had
the.
a damaged car. He couldn't. He had to hobble
Did he?
back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think if he hadn't been there, or even with him there, you made the track out and then
Yeah,
some.
I missed my breaking point here, I think, and then
Yeah.
and then I was on the brakes. So try not to lock them up.
Yeah.
So okay, well, thank you for throwing me in the stocks. Anybody else wants to get to join me in the gulag?
Yeah.
For today?
Can we? So on lap 18, me and Stefan came out of the pit side by side, and I ended up getting this is Adam Pohl, a stop and go for an unsafe exit because I wasn't pushed over. But I'd just like to review it and see what we should do next time because kind of sucked getting a stop and go.
So this
I
lap
think
here,
what
yeah.
happens there is they will let us kind of coexist until we separate, and then so your unsafeness is that you went
yeah.
over the white line.
If you would have
early.
stayed inside his car, you would have been fine until
just
after
stay-
the blue.
All right. Well, could he give me a bit more of that pit lane exit next time?
You could have just stayed
No,
right
'cause-
inside of him.
Inside him.
I
You know,
was trying
it
to
sounds
stay
bad,
inside
but-
of you so that we
Yeah.
could.
Just to give you a heads up, we've
Do
actually.
you consider yourself here? No, just kidding.
Use up the least
Man,
amount
I
of
hope
room
someone
possible.
doesn't walk in on this conversation. I
Yeah,
was
this
trying
is-
to stay inside of him.
Terrible.
The imagery is
weird
painful,
iRacing,
but
right?
just
So
stay
sorry for
inside
how
of
that
him.
sounded.
Yeah.
Oh,
There
they
is a
have-
weird iRacing glitch that if two cars go inside each other, you effectively both become like
one?
almost ghosts.
Well, until you
Because-
separate, you can do 10
Right.
laps together.
Yeah, and
Really?
also-
No way.
Yeah, I heard someone tell me that once.
Know
Yeah.
that.
I don't know whether you know this, but sometimes other cars can actually drive through you if you're still
Yes.
inside because you're
Right.
not actually fully rendered, which is really bizarre. We did that around Knock Hill because we came out of the pits and obviously it's so narrow. One of my teammates just drove straight through. So like, okay, well that's weird. You
So
know?
you're telling me a third car went through the two together?
Yeah, because the
Oh,
cars
wow.
don't render for some. The cars don't become solid
Okay.
until they
Oh.
separate. So it's just a bit of a weird iRacing.
Right. So what I'm trying to do here is stay within the boundaries of your cars so that we can both fit in the
Right.
pit lane at one time,
Yeah,
rather
fair
than
enough.
us both making contact and I end up in the grass and you end up over the white line. So
Yeah, I know you're not trying to do anything malicious here. It just sucks when that black flag pops up. You're like, oh fuck, there goes. my
yeah,
race."
you need to stay on the left of the white line.
Yeah.
And Adam, you would have probably had the inside line. So if
Yeah.
you stayed
Oh,
together
yeah, I
like
got
that
him.
and then
It
just
was
separated
exactly what he did.
after the
Yeah,
blue
which is
cone.
exactly what he did because
Yeah.
I couldn't. If I moved any more to the right, then all of a sudden I'm looking through his windshield, and that was just way too weird.
Yeah.
It
so
was too
so
deep
he ended up.
inside.
Yeah, so then he ended up getting that inside line and was able to take the position, which, he's got quarter of a bumper on me.
hmm
It's that bit there, just the little jing to
You
the
need
right.
to talk to your
that's what-
So that right
They're
there is
pretty
what got
slow.
him the black flag, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right
right
there. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But no
So at that
contact
point-
because it's interesting. You separated, you came back
That's a
together.
shame
but
that
you didn't
gives
get
it too,
contact.
because I mean, it's like how unsafe was that really as a pit exit? Not really, but there you go. There's the game.
Yeah. Well, now I know for next time. That's really what I wanted to come out of this with.
Great racing, by the way.
I know
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Yeah, it was great racing.
Anybody else?
Stefan.
Yeah, I got
Anybody
one.
wanna look at-
Can I see lap 7 just before the chicane?
Is that you, Matt?
Matt.
Yeah, it's Matt.
Matt's over.
It's actually starts with Nicholas.
Oh Christ! Why can't I see? Okay, right. So
5, there you go.
coming out the coming into the pits or out of the pits?
This will be the. It starts at the chicane further back.
Oh, further back. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is this? Hold on.
Or sorry, it
Keep
starts
going, keep
before the
going.
chicane. Really.
Yeah.
Here or further?
A little further. All right. Yeah. There you
Oh,
go.
he had a slowdown.
No, he had his steering was broken because he had a hit.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I got yeeted by Andy. He gave me a broken steering wheel.
Yeah, my bad. I'm gonna go and
No,
sit
dude.
in the corner
Whoa.
and think about what I've done.
You totally Max Verstappen me, man.
Yep.
I'm sorry, dude.
No, I think that was more of a Hamilton personally, but hey, you know. Max Verstappen would have been, only the left front into the right rear.
Yes, left front.
I'm
yeah.
just not that I'm gonna kind of drop Peter into the poop, but I just want to see how close I got to your car, Peter, because I'll be honest with you, I had palpitations. Do you remember what lap that was? Trying to think.
Probably.
You up ahead of me. Oh God, I can't even find where you are. I'm probably about to find it. Position 8. Oh, I don't know. I'll give up. I'm obviously not that bothered. I'll put on here actually. Was it 18?
I don't think we came together, did we?
Got bloody close. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, Peter. Yeah, you fell back, right?
Yeah, I spun out.
Oh, this one, yes. Yeah, what happened?
Oh, well,
go
yeah,
back,
that's.
go back to the hair.
That
Go
too.
all the way back to the chicane. It was good racing.
Okay.
Keep going to the chicane. To the chicane.
Oh yeah. This gets.
Yeah, this was I think this ended up being clean. I looked at it, and you got a wiggle coming out of that last turn, Colin, and I guess from your perspective, you could have gone straight. It looked like you started turning to the left, and then I ended up running into you.
Yeah, and then I tried to let Darren go, and
so I got a run on Colin here. I got
this,
through
this
okay.
This is good racing here, though.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, that's clean there.
Yeah, and then I lost a little bit of
And then I got
pace, so he
speed
caught
here.
up. And then he went going to the inside.
Yeah, well, you kind
No,
of
not
clipped
here.
it, so I couldn't.
I went a little deep here, but I was like, okay, I'll recover.
Oh,
And then watch
all
this move.
clean
I thought
there.
this
And
was
then-
a pretty good move here.
Yeah, it was.
good? Still
Like,
good?
yeah, it's a dive bomb, but I guess you kind of did that. I mean, you made it.
Wow.
You made it.
That
It
was
was
awesome.
good braking.
And then,
Yeah,
And
that's a
then-
good
and
move
then-
there.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Then he gave you a hip check.
Yeah.
And then I watched the movie unfold in front of me.
What happened here?
I tried to let Darren go.
Clean
So
path?
I
No
took
problem?
off the speed. I thought I was going to go, and I went all the way right,
Oh, I
and just
see.
wasn't enough room.
Doesn't look like you're letting him through.
Yeah.
No, I'm off the gas.
Yeah, but
Whoa. You gotta
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
you gotta drop
Yeah.
that further. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I didn't.
It wasn't intentional, I don't think, on either part. I thought he was giving me the apex. He thought he was
Yeah.
letting me go.
On
It's
the
just-
I thought you were just going to go on the outside because if I slowed down to give you the apex, then Pete was going to get around me.
Mm.
And so I just tried to stay as tight as I could and give you all that room to do whatever you needed to do to get by. That was the thought in my head, at least.
Colin, were you a lap down? Is that why you had to?
No.
No,
he just
just,
came out of the pit, but I didn't
Darren
want
pitted
him.
Oh, I
He
see.
was racing Chris. I wanted to let him get
Gotcha,
back
gotcha.
to it, and that slowed him
Oh,
down.
okay.
They were just on different pit strategy, yeah.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it might have been a thing to stay online and let him go by. Sometimes pulling offline can create more problems in that kind of a situation, because then
Yeah,
he
I mean,
might
it's
have had more
such
control
a
over the
fast
path.
section. It probably would have been better just to wait after that turn
That too.
and then do it. But I know Darren was eager to get back on your bumper.
Well, let him know. Let him know over the mic. Say, hey, go left.
Well, he
or right.
flashed. I saw the flash, so
Oh,
that's why I
okay.
thought he was like, "All right, let's go through this turn." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna hug right, and you go around." That was the way I was interpreting the maneuver.
Flash.
Yeah.
But it's a little confusing because you're clearly slowing down to let him
Right.
through, and then you take the inside of the apex. You know.
Yeah. You'd have to.
Because that was the line I was on. I didn't want to cut across the.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that it looks like you came off the brake a
Mm-hmm.
little too much. Like you slowed down, but not enough to really let him go by, because it's a little hard to go too wide through there. I mean,
Of course. So that's what I kind of realized. Like, shit, this is not the right. I thought he was gonna get me before the turn. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, to help your defense of the car behind you, you probably should have let him by in the straight and pulled in at the end of his straight, so this way you get through the apex fast.
I know. I was trying to
'Cause you
be
probably-
a good
'cause he
dude and
looks
not fuck up his race, but I did anyway.
Yeah, but the move you did, like, you probably would have been a sit and duck because you were going to be going slow because you were too wide through that corner.
Right.
And the car behind you was going to hit it. He was going to be able to use the whole width.
So I should have just waited, even though Darren was impatient.
Well, tell him, hey, look, I'm gonna let you through on the straight.
Let him know over the mic.
Because then he probably would have just waited.
Calling it either way.
He's gonna flash anyway, right?
Heck, he does
Well,
that
you
to me
do like
too.
to hit my bumper. In the last 3 races, I think I've gotten it, or maybe last race Pete got it.
Well, you seemed upset last night, Colin, that I hit Peter and not you. So
that's fair. That's fair. But it was good, fun, clean racing. Who was I racing with back there? That was fun.
I don't see it being intentional or foul play there. So
no.
Yeah, it's not.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, guys.
I really like my Verstappen move too.
I'm gonna have to bounce because I've got other duties to attend to. So, is there any others, or is that pretty much it for?
I think that was relatively clean race.
I
First
didn't
lap
see-
was good.
yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, start was exciting. Everyone kept it clean.
That was very good.
Nice
Yeah, it
long
was.
line.
That probably was the fastest race, I think. You know, we've talked about races that have gone by super quick. This was definitely one of them.
Yes, it was busy.
Maybe a little less for me, but
Did the start caught you off guard? I was on second gear.
Yes.
I couldn't go.
Yeah, we're like fifth gear when it went off. So yeah.
I was in the middle of the turn. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't expecting it to go as quick as
No.
it did, but it definitely went sooner than I was ready for it. I was sitting there like, okay, I'm gonna line up next to Steve here, getting ready for the jump. What? He's going? I barely looked over to see if I was lined up with him, and it was already going. I was like, dang it.
Hey.
So would it be possible, Scott, to maybe set up the practice as a running start rather than the standing one, or was there a decision whether to do a standing start?
I was just trying to save time because
okay.
it takes like 4 minutes to go around a track. So I was like,
Not
I mean,
every
we
track
could
has
do-
a short lap. Yeah, option.
Yeah,
To start.
if there's a short lap option, yes, I'll definitely do that, like Laguna Seca, right? But otherwise, I mean, we can do rolling start on Tuesday, but standing on Wednesday. Would that work?
Yeah, like Road America takes 6 minutes to get around.
Right.
Yeah, that's
There's
a
a
long
short-
track.
And they don't have a
6 minutes in what car?
option.
In the
Right.
pace lap.
Oh,
catch
the
you later,
pace lap.
guys.
Oh, okay.
You know
Have a
what? I
good
wonder
evening.
if we could.
Short option there
Yeah,
now.
see ya.
America.
Could we just ignore the pace car and just go a lot faster and then just take off on the command of the guy that's in the front?
Well, everybody will
think
get black flagged, I think.
As soon as the
Yeah,
pace car
that
goes
would be
in, you can
correct.
leave, right?
I think
But,
because
yeah,
you can
as a
get in
general-
front of the pace car too on the pace lap, and I don't think you get a black flag because of that.
I think you do.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
you
I've
got to
done
stay
it.
behind the pace
You
car.
gotta stay
You
behind the
gotta
pace
stay in
car.
pace. Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta stay in pace.
But as soon as the pace, I don't think you have to wait for green. I think the leader can go as soon as the pace car leaves the track.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm
but-
just talking about the fact that like Road America takes a long time to get around after behind a pace car. You know.
But we go.
Le
when it's
Mans
clean.
gonna be super fun, ain't it? Let's do a full pace lap at Le Mans. I don't even think that's an
Yeah, there you
option,
go.
right? 5 hours later. Okay, is the race going to start today, or what's going on here?
It's like nightfall. It's like, oh, it's too dark.
Yeah.
So Scott, the next 2 weeks we don't have races,
Tuesday doing
correct?
3 races instead of 2, and then just shortening up the qualifying a bunch. This way, we're not racing any longer, but we get more race starts.
Oh, I didn't catch that. What did you say?
I was just looking at the calendar.
We could do 3 races on Tuesday instead of a long qualifying. Like I think we have like a 30-minute qualifying session. I would cut that down, and then do a 15-minute heat, a 15-minute consolation, and then a 15-minute race. We'd still be done at the same time. It would cost the same amount of money, but we get 3 quick race starts.
Oh,
Yeah, do like a 2-lap qualifier or something.
Or I think you can do practice. You can use practice as qualifying.
Mm-hmm. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Get some racing in instead.
You have to do it. You have to set it up as like a heat format.
It is heat format, but I can add a consolation race. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And you just make sure that, like, I think you just set it so that nobody advances. This way, everybody gets to participate in all 3 races.
okay, so let me see. I have to check the time, but okay, we can play around with that.
Are you doing 3 races for practice, you're saying?
Yeah.
Wednesday nights. Yeah.
Wednesday, yeah. I said Tuesday.
Yeah. So we can do open call and three heat races. Okay.
Yeah. And we, honestly, we'd probably be done a few minutes
And
earlier.
we can do 1.5 hours within that. Okay. I'll make that happen.
All right, gents, this was fun. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Congrats,
Good
Chris.
race.
See you, Mike. Good race, guys.
See you guys.
You too, Mike.
Alright, see you guys.
See you guys.
Have a good week.
Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Hey, Chris, what do you think of your monitors? You miss VR?
Not at all.
Really?
Not even slightly. Yeah. Not even slightly. I mean, I miss some of the immersion, but honestly, like with a good set of triples like this, it's like it's not too much different on immersion, and there's so many other things that I have that I didn't have before that are making me happy, like all the overlays, and I mean the overlays are a pretty big deal. I mean,
really?
To me, they are, because I didn't have any way to calculate fuel other than leaving it on either crew chief, or the other option was doing it beforehand and hoping it gets right.
Yep.
And this way, it's like, I mean, today my calculator kind of failed me a little bit because I thought I was actually short. That's why I started slowing down for the last bit there, and then it turned out I had an extra lap, and maybe that might have given me the extra lap because I slowed down enough, but. Either way, for a moment there, thought I was in trouble.
Yeah.
But when that's worked right, it's like I've saved time in the pits because of it, and then I also have the flat map thing at the top, so while I'm driving along, like I can see in theory where I'm going to come out, which is kind of cool. It's like, oh, there's a gap, go now instead of the next lap, or just that little extra bit of data is useful. The things I don't like is that I don't have the visibility of the gauge of the actual car anymore. So I had to put an overlay with most of the data, and it's just taken a little custom building of that to put the data that I care about there. But like, there's times where I'm like, having to dip my head down to look under the wheel to be able to see it, or if I, in this car and like the Indy car, when I play with that, I don't have nearly all the data I want there. So it's a little different
must be
adventure.
really
So like
high.
I have triples, but they're not like real triples. Like the big one, the one in the middle is bigger. It's like I can stretch the window and kind of like experience it. And I don't know, I've never really loved it. I'm surprised that you don't miss VR.
I also don't miss sweating my ass off in VR. I don't miss that.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's easier and it's a lot more relaxed, and you can just kind of.
Yeah, I feel more consistent too. I don't know. Like I was reasonably consistent in VR, but like. I feel more consistent. There are things that I struggle with still a little bit, like the depth perception.
Yeah.
Took a little getting used to because that's missing. But there's stuff like the side-by-side stuff that also makes a big difference. I don't have any blind spot necessarily next to me anymore, where before I was kind of like, I had moments where I'm side by side and I'm like, I hope that person's still where I think they are, and then you kind of.
That's how I do it. I mean, even when I was using my monitors, like I don't look at the car next to me. Like if I race you, I'm like he gets like a car and a little bit more if he's on the inside, and officials. I'm like, well, maybe that guy gets 2 cars.
Yeah,
I'm never
well,
actually looking.
but at least this point, like your peripheral vision works like in a real car, you know.
getting
So if
some,
I'm
yeah,
like looking in and I see just a little fender in my peripheral, it's like, oh, I can maintain a little distance there. There's a lot I like about it. There's things that I'm not crazy about. I wish there was a middle ground there with VR having the performance these have.
Yeah.
Because I do find that, like, I do think I'm a little bit faster with them. Not massively, but I think there's some benefit over
I
time.
think it's going to be a few more years, right? I mean, you see iRacing is now advertising the frickin' Pimax, and that thing is, I wouldn't really call that a production-ready VR system, you know?
I used it and I hated it.
Yeah, it's awful.
Like, it looked beautiful, but like there was just something weird about it when I was like apexing. Like, just
Yeah.
everything looked screwy for it. Like, I don't know. It was, like I said, the picture was super clear. It just, I don't know. There was something off about it. And when I went back to my Oculus, it was blurry as shit. And I was like, this is so much better. It made no sense, but I don't know. I can't really explain it. I know a lot of people use it and like it, but I didn't like that.
Which monitor did you go with, Chris?
I went with the Asus. They're 1080p ones actually, because I talked to the guy who built my computer and he was like, yeah, don't go 4K. Your card won't run it, very, very well frame rate wise. And they're supposed to be able to push like 240 hertz if I actually could do it. So the box said something like world's fastest gaming monitor. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but that's what it said on the box, So I'm like, okay. So they seem to be doing all right.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
that's what the VRS guys run.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how I found the specs. Was there was a I can't remember the name of it, but there was a website that had all the specs of like these top alien guys rigs, and I was looking through and I kind of Amazon searched the different monitors they had, and I think these are the same ones that Josh Rogers has, and so I'm like, well, those must be good enough because that's what he's running. So, I'm sure his PC is a little stronger than mine, but that's fine though, So it's interesting to look through and see. Yeah. It was interesting to look through and see what Verstappen's running. He's got like, I don't know, I think they're like $700 or $800 a monitor or something, like some Samsung of some sort, that's super crazy. And
they're probably big too, I'm guessing.
I think they're 31s or 32s.
I remember seeing Jan Magnussen when he got into iRacing. Somebody posted a Twitter picture, and he was like inside them, like they were huge.
Yeah, I would love to have that. Like,
yeah, that'd be awesome.
What's that guy? The Boosted Media guy, the 65-inch monitors.
Maybe he's gonna sell them after his basement just flooded. So.
Yeah, I saw something about that. Yeah. That's crazy.
Whose basement flooded?
The Boosted Media guy, the little Aussie guy.
Oh, the Aussie guy, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was fine, and like it didn't even affect the actuators or anything either. But he'll get his little brother to clean it up, I'm sure.
Yeah, I like the idea of that, but I mean, the investment that he made for that rig—that's got to be a.
I think he got some of that
sponsorship
probably from HP, right? So it's HP Envy, I'm sure, because I think he had some other HP gear that he tried out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He still got the. Doesn't he have the one that moves or something?
Yeah, a lot of motion
I'm using
stuff.
that same. Yeah, he went to the actuators. He had the what's the seat mover version 3, and then he went to the actuators, and then he has the traction loss thing, I think, going to, or maybe he moved off of that when he went to the actuators.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think you're right about that.
I'm using the Motion Platform V3. I bought it off of Mike Bone, so I've been using that for the past few weeks.
Huh? Is it just mostly up and down and like feeling bumps, or are you feeling traction loss?
I mean, you feel it. You feel the kind of the car moving side to side, but then you also feel like the oscillations and the elevation changes, which are fun. And then you can kind of, especially like in those hairpins, you can kind of like the seat just all of a sudden like doesn't have like the rigidity. You can kind of feel it start to move. It's almost like you could feel the rear end spinning around, which is kind of cool. It's just like this like transition. It's like a fake transition thing that you feel. And I dialed down the settings so they're not like super crazy. and therefore it's just kind of like the butt kickers. It's just there to kind of help the immersion, but it doesn't like distract you from the racing.
Interesting. Yeah, I would like something that gives the seat of the pants feel. I mean, I still feel like there's enough of that missing at times that I'm like, man, if I could just feel this thing,
Yeah.
I could find another little bit of time here and there. I wouldn't, I'm sure it's not going to be massive, but like I look at the difference between those guys who are, alienish and stuff like that, and it's always frustratingly like a half a tenth here, a half a tenth there, and sometimes it's like 2 or 3 tenths in a segment or something like that. But it's like I feel like I'm getting what I can, and I can't feel like I do in a real car. Like, what is the difference? Why can't I get the slip angle right? Why can't where's that moment where it's right at the edge that I'm not feeling? Because so I don't know. I'm sure enough time. Like if I spend the rest of my life in the sim, then I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, I did notice that because I've got a dead pedal, and I did notice that like when it's gotten like somewhat stressful, like really close racing, I'm kind of using that dead pedal, which then kind of prohibits the seat from moving freely because I'm kind of locked in, right?
Oh yeah.
And so I noticed that a couple times, like, oh, that's why I'm not feeling anything.
Yeah.
I'm stronger than the motors.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well, that was a fun race there. I guess you had a little spin or something, Steve, right?
Yeah, I locked the rear tires going into the final corner.
That is those hairpins are so tricky. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought I had it. I mean, I felt like I skated around the whole damn thing until the end. It just wouldn't stop coming around, like just real slow. And
yeah, I had a couple of those in practice in those hairpins where you're like, oh, okay, it's a little sideways. You put all the lock you got in, and you're like, I think it's going to come back, and it just keeps going, and it just keeps going, and you're like, what are we on ice all of a sudden? I mean, geez Louise,
Yeah, I mean, like it's kind of like you crest that hill, and there's the curb on the inside, and it's banked the wrong way. Like I think it just kind of bunch of shit going on there.
Yeah, I hated those hairpins. I mean,
pit lane speed limit.
If I got them right, it was like, oh yeah, and then 99% of the time I didn't. So
I felt like we all took them a little bit differently as well.
For sure, yeah.
It takes it clear. Stay behind the white line.
A better time a bit, so I was like, I don't know, I'm just gonna keep doing the way I'm doing it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think you caught me a couple times there,
right
a little bit here and there.
Right.
It seemed like you were a little stronger when you got it right through the hairpins.
Yeah. Well, it's easy too, because I'm following you, so I can, gauge up with you like when I'm behind you.
Right.
Like I know, like there were like 3 laps in a row where you just missed the final chicane by like a car width thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Corner. And I was like, damn, but you kind of run wide, and you have a little bit run down the straightaway, and I'm like, well, I can't, I have no speed on you at this point, so there's nothing I can do with it.
Yeah, I'd still get off the corner enough that it wasn't bad enough. Yeah, we had that one time through 1 and 2 there. Other than that, it was good fun.
Yeah, I thought Darren would have stuck his nose in, messing around too much, but it never happened.
Yeah. I'd rather just take each other out.
You're just sitting there waiting. Yeah, I saw you back there. Yeah, it's funny. I didn't realize how tight we were running for a while there, and then I looked and I was like, oh wait, that's not the relative between each other. That's the relative to me. I was like, oh, we're all within a second there, so we were pretty tight. That's fun.
We were pretty nose to tail there for a while.
I thought we shook it at one point, and then we were back to I'm always like trying to gauge pace and shit. I'm like, oh, maybe it's not quite as fast as we're going. And then back to the end, maybe not.
I made a little mistake. Went a little wide in one of the turns or something.
Yeah,
there was a couple of turns that I felt like I had a little bit more pace, but it really, it wasn't enough to. You couldn't do anything with it. It's like because it wasn't enough to really get me up there. So
yeah.
The race was better than I expected. I mean, I just bought the track last weekend, so I was like, oh boy, this is going to be a shit show at this track with the lack of grip and the hills and all that off-camber stuff, but it was actually better.
It's interesting. I feel like this car, you know, the setup has been a rough one for some of these. I'm so spoiled now after last season having setups that were like tailored to the tracks, and then you come with this setup and it's like you can't get through a hairpin, you can't get through whatever. It's like it doesn't want to do it. You know?
Until we switched back, and I was like, oh man,
yeah.
Yeah, if we had we could use our own setups maybe, but
Or at least kind of grab the high downforce for the tracks that should have a high downforce, and the low downforce for the ones that should have a low downforce. Because like Le Mans, this is going to be way too much downforce for Le Mans. But you know, it's going to be like a pocket of air that you know 3 people draft by you every time down the straightaway.
That was going to be my suggestion. So I wasn't needed as early as I thought. So I thought I'd come back here and join the conversation. I just think like Brandon on like the high downforce. I think it would have, for me, like, I think it would help the guys who are a little bit further down in terms of the grid order with having that extra downforce that's going to twist the tracks. Because I want to give it, the downforce helps with the braking, etc. I really like, I'm not going to claim that everybody's got the same setup, but like, for me, it doesn't suit my driving style. Like, I'm like, I don't know.
Last week I couldn't figure it out to save my life at that track with the setup we had, and I mean, Steve, you had that thing hooked up and we're just gone, and I was just, I think I spun twice in the race, just like I just could not keep the thing pointed the right
It's
direction.
funny. I feel like the car doesn't have any turning, like it just understeers. Where I didn't notice it was bad last week for whatever reason. You know.
Well, I felt more comfortable with it here by a long way than I did last week, and it, you know, it's just the two hairpins that I was like, everything else I'm like, okay, I mean, I can deal with this. This is pretty decent. You get to the hairpins, I'm like, well, what the hell? You know?
The track temp here was a lot lower than it was last week, so the grip was better.
Yeah.
It was better than the practice we had earlier too.
I mean, and that's the other thing, you know, if we had better downforce at some of these tracks, and then the track temp wasn't 120.
Yeah.
It would be, you know, the faster guys are basically gonna, you know, it's gonna help everybody really. You know, like Andy was saying, the guys in the back that have struggle a little bit with how the car is handling, it will help them because the car, you know, won't move around as much.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back,
approaching.
The real plan was, it wasn't to have open setups, it was that we could use, everybody could use the one good setup that made the cars perform their best, and then use that.
Car left, clear left.
Kind of the throwaway medium downforce setup versus completely open, right? I think that the real plan would have been, hey, there's a VRS setup that works for the track, let's make that the setup for the week, and each week we just put a VRS setup in the race. You know, we all use that.
Well, yeah, kind of like
on your left.
I mean, the IndyCar leagues, they're doing stuff similar to that. Like if there's a setup that's built for the track by iRacing, we use it. If there's not, then one of the guys we need to build a setup or grab a setup.
Car right, clear right.
But we're maximizing what we can get out of the car, and we're not driving the car where it's not set up.
Track limits.
The car will handle it. It'd just be easier for everybody down the line. I mean, I don't know. I've never driven one of these cars, but personally,
E8.
For a car that has a lot of aero, it handles like shit. I mean, we might as well be driving the Mustang. It pushes and oversteers. It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah.
The trouble is with the setup side is like, I don't know how like obviously you sim racing and stuff you are, because obviously there's an entire spectrum of like, you know, jump hard race, that's it, or you've got kind of the other end where it's like a lot of time and hours get spent on developing setups and all that kind of stuff, and that's kind of where like you have the open setup side, someone who's vested in that won't necessarily be super keen to
Track
share
limits, this lap will be deleted.
kind of some of their tricks of the trade, so to speak. So I
Yeah.
The
But that's
leader's
where you
just
use
done
like the
at
VRS setup, where it's like
127.06.
not created by somebody, it's created and it's like for all of us to use.
Yeah, I mean, like we as a team, so like we have like a partnership with Craig Setup Shop. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah. Masterclass car behind.
So Craig sponsors us as a team, and the guys that build his setups are kind of pretty good drivers. So the VRS ones from our point is
team, we think they're just very much. When you look at the actual data on VRS, they'll go on maybe 3 laps. Go, yeah, that's enough, and they'll stick it up. So they are a little bit like that. So Craig's on the rest of the
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I go a little faster with the VRS, but I feel like Craig's does a hell of a lot better with the shock package 99% of the time. I think the last season, for some reason, it seemed like no matter what happened, the VRS
on your right
faster almost everywhere. But
right side's clear.
Most of the time, I feel like, you know, the Craig's guys, at least like the shocks aren't just, you know, random. You know, you look at the shock profiles and stuff, and they're not just all over the place like they are with VRS.
Sector 1 is 1.9 seconds off the pace.
I think a big issue is that we don't follow any schedule. So
the leader has just done 126.26.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So it's like, you know, we'd all be like just guessing and throwing shit at it, and
Yeah. I think the reason was that the main reason was really just to try and give people a bit of an even playing field in terms of, you know, tools available. And I'm all for that.
Sector 2 is 0.8 off the pace.
You can get the balance right, because this is quite like a mixed ability league, and I don't think that's descending whatsoever. But like the league that I do, like with the European guys, we kind of control to some degree the entry. So I mean, you're aware of like strength of fields, right, or SOS.
Yeah.
Our pro category is like 6K. You know, and then you've got pro out, which is around 3.5.
That's your quickest lap in this session. Sector 3 is 0.7 off the pace.
We control the classes just differently, and whether that's something that would benefit the series is having kind of a pro championship and then an AM championship, you might get more buy-in by people who are perhaps tooting around and like
intimidated when they go to race.
And that's kind of, you know, I'm not saying everyone gets the prize and everyone gets the winner.
That's what PCA does.
Sector 1 is 0.6 off the pace.
There's benefits and there's drawbacks to that. One of my biggest gripes with real racing, so to speak, these days is that, you know, like you look at like the GT4 championship, and it's like I have a couple good, you know, coworkers and friends that run in those, you know, like with SRO and some of these other ones, and I remember, you know, tuning in. You know, one of my buddies is like, "Oh, I finished 3rd," and I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome, man! I didn't think he was going to have that good of a run with his co-driver that he had, because co-driver wasn't super awesome." So I go to watch the race, and I'm like, "He's not in 3rd." Like there was like 20, 30 cars or whatever. I'm like, "He's not. What the heck?" And so then I start looking further, and there's like 6 classes, all running GT4 cars. There's like Pro, there's Pro-Am, there's Pro-Am West, there's Pro-Am East, there's, you know, Am, and you're just like, you're all racing the same freaking car, guys. Like,
so
you know. P8 was your best lap in this session. That was 128.36.
Sim-related stuff, which is the truth.
Your secret's safe with us, Andy.
You're good, mate. You're good. So like, you've been in the league I've been running for 5 years. We now get like we grandfather people in every time we open up seasons. We do 2 seasons a year. If you have a 75% attendance, you're grandfathered into the following season, so you get counted in C. We then open up the end.
Sector 1 is 0.7 off the pace.
Right. That, and I'm not joking. We sit and watch the entries come in. Have a decide shit. So we're kind of we're blessed in that we have like so much interest, and obviously people appreciate how we kind of.
Well, it makes sense to have that many people to segment it like that. I like I said, you know, if it's like, okay, this, if you did Pro-Am and so forth with this exact group of 20 some odd drivers, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But if you have a scale that you guys have, that fully makes sense. It's like, you know, you got enough to segment, you know.
I can see like my counterpart Matt, he has like a document and he uploads all the race results, everything and anything, like finishing, like the whole, I mean, it's just like too picky. But what it allows us to do is then look at kind of the grid, and then we actually have data from previous seasons to then look back on, compare with the new grid for the season coming, and then classify people appropriately.
You're currently 2.6 off the leader's pace. You're a second off the pace in Sector 3.
Sandbaggers or outliers that, you know, we've classed, you know, incorrectly. But it's
what's the name of your league that you're in?
It's the World GT Championship.
Okay.
WGTC. So we're on Race Spot. So Monday nights UK time. So be like.
There's a faster car approaching.
And then
sector 1 is 0.5 off the pace.
To actually have our opening season for that January, and what we've managed to do is actually get 6 British touring car drivers to sign up to drive with it as well. So that's going to be interesting. So we've got Ash, Dan Camish, Senna Proctor, who else am I thinking of? Tom Ingram's in maybe.
Car left. Still there.
Thompson.
Clear
So,
left.
yeah,
Sector 2 is 1.2 off the pace.
Those guys in the grid. Because they're super competitive as well, which is the main thing to live.
What's the website for you guys? I was just trying to find it.
Yeah, it's worldsimracing.co.uk. All one word.
Are you in the UK, Andy?
I'm not
being validated. Watch the track limits.
So,
okay.
If you check that, yeah, if you click the WGTC at the top, that'll take you to like the league specific. And if you click the rule book, you'll see like I think there's 14 pages of rules. But I know that sounds like a lot.
Car right.
But
right side's clear.
Because we have, we have big grids. We have sponsors who pay, who donate. There's all sorts of other stuff. And also we're on, we're representing
sector 1 is 0.6 off the pace.
When you're on race spot, obviously race spot's kind of that. We want to kind of get to that point. There's a lot of people watch, so we want to make sure that driving is of a good standard, so that it doesn't shit on us as an organisation. So we're just in the middle of kind of revamping the website. A couple of it still needs to just be updated, but in the main it's kind of pretty accurate. So you'll see kind of calendar, entry list. You go to the WTCS at the top. Kind of, it's a pretty easy site to navigate, really.
Yeah, check it out. It always sucks that I see I think I'm trying to remember what other league it was I jumped into when I first started. I thought I was going to have time, to be in. I think it was while maybe I had some time off sometimes during the week, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll try to jump into whatever. But it was another European league of some sort, and
10th position. That's your best lap in this.
And then it just turned out like I never was home when it was time. It was a bummer because it seemed like the race was really solid and the league was really good.
Track limits, they'll invalidate this lap.
Yeah, I actually find it really tough to find. I enjoy jumping into a league here in the state, where I don't have to think about anything other than driving.
Yeah.
For me, when I'm driving in these kind of like the leagues that we kind of run, I'm always in the back of my mind hoping that it's looking good. And
car left.
It's going to be okay.
Clear left.
It's an absolute shit show. And there are races where it just turns into a bit of a mess. We've had to have safety cars, but we run a bit of a unique format in the GT. So we do 3 types of disciplines. So one round will be 3 sprint races of 20 minutes each. Races 2 and 3 are determined by a random reverse grid, which they then announce on the broadcast, so that makes things interesting. We do a feature race, which is
hit in
2
etiquette that I need to know on this one.
Reverse grid. We do an hour and 45-minute enduro race with 2 mandatory stops. So it's
that's what I like to hear.
The kind of the skill set for those.
Hi, Robbie. It was my first time racing
with after their tires to the enduro. So we get some pretty interesting races because of that. But I find here in the States...
On your right. Right side's clear.
I just feel like I need to walk a little bit extra around that second to last corner, and I'm afraid I'm going to get
You've got a
out
couple
there.
of ones that kind of kick around. You've got Geodesic, PRL, Autobahn. But they all kind of do the same thing, and I think if they kind of combine, they'd actually have a really good offering, but it's quite diluted, I find, in terms of driving standards on the GT stuff. So the Europeans definitely in place from the GT racing. I mean, get to the oval stuff, then your fellow countrymen are xed out at the plate racing. So
yeah, definitely interesting. I'm gonna step off here. My wife's blowing up my phone here a little bit, so. well, it was a great fun, and forward to, I guess, a couple weeks from now.
Yeah, next race is in January.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on there.
That'll be fun though. I think it'll be interesting. I just bought Le Mans a couple weeks ago when they had it in whatever it was, GT3 or whatever.
Do you think we should lobby for low downforce for Le Mans? Because, like you say, it should be.
I would think so. I mean, it's gonna be a little less exciting.
I'm gonna in the league suggestions. I'm gonna throw that in there. You guys just chime in and Sky will get mad at us.
I feel like it's going to be boring compared to the tracks we've been running at.
Yeah, it's gonna be like the super speedway of road courses, you know.
Yeah.
I think no matter how good you get a run, like the pack is unless there's a big wreck or something stupid, I think it's gonna stay pretty close together down the long straights, you know.
It is going to be, if you lose the draft, you're screwed.
For sure. Yeah, there's not a lot of making up for that much distance and such. So, yeah.
It's gonna be a
Maybe
tight
we
back
can
up
get
front.
him to increase the X's, so we can bump draft.
I'm all for bump drafting, sure, why not? Yeah. But, yeah.
Well,
until it messes up your front end and then you're slow.
Yeah, true.
I'll set up a practice race there because I haven't even downloaded the track yet, so we'll do it over the next 2 weeks, maybe next week, and then something else. Sure. Darren, you had a good idea. Do something completely different, maybe an off-road or something.
4 off-road race or a rally race is fun. Like everybody can just run the Beetle. It's free, and pick one of the free tracks like Daytona or something, and just go beat on each other and slide around and jump and all that stuff.
How's that different from a normal BMW CCA race?
Good point.
You do it lap after lap.
One of the fun things is that dang Formula Thunderdome thing. I can't believe we got to wait till March till it returns. But
I thought that was like a long-term thing. I was going to stop doing this league to do that instead, and then I found out I was like 2 races left.
Why don't we try to recreate it? That sounded like a lot of fun.
It's the most amazing thing ever. there was the amount of laughing off just hysterically while racing that we did. It was, I mean, who cares where you finish? It was just like, the creative lines that you would find, to try to find it. There was like a speedway where I think I ended up winning like maybe heat race or maybe I ended up winning in main, but either way, it was like, there was a way to cut through the infield of this. I was in a speedway, like a little short oval. There was a way to cut through that you kind of went through little gap in the wall into pit lane, and it came out on the pit exit. And it was like 0.2 of a second faster. And you had like this massive slowdown, but the truck was so slow it would just clear the slowdown by the time you got there. And you just like, you could use that as the passing lane. It was like a joker lap every single lap, and half the people were staying on the banking. A couple of us were making the cut through, and I was just stupid.
That you don't even use your own name. They change your name so you don't even know who you're racing.
Yeah.
So
mine was pretty obvious because I was the hill for some reason. But
that's not what I could figure out. I think I wrecked like Hendrick like 3 times. I didn't know it was him.
Yeah.
Well, set up one of those. Darren, you set up one. I'll do Le Mans. Next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we can do maybe one each night, whatever works for you guys. And
it's Christmas week, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. Friday, it's Christmas Day.
Christmas Eve's Friday.
Christmas Eve, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have a good evening, chaps. I'll leave you guys to get on.
Yep.
And,
all right.
Good night.
Yep. You too. Take it easy, guys.
Good night.
Yeah, you too. Hey, Peter, you still wanna?
Yeah, if you have time to connect, real quick. Yeah, because everyone left, so we can just stay here.
Okay. The simplicity of it is, I looked through and watched what I could, kind of while we were chatting. Really, there was only one. Well, I mean, the thing with Darren and Colin.
Yeah.
But beyond that, there was only one other thing, and that alone was the real big killer of your race.
That was. Yeah.
I looked at the amount of time you lost from that.
Yeah.
And it would have been the difference between, I think, 5th and 7th.
Yeah, because I think I definitely lost one place because I think I would have been in 6th versus 7th or 7th versus 8th. I just had a momentary lapse of focus, and I was like, "Holy shit, I got a break," and then I just ended up going wide, and I just lost it. But and then after, so obviously that just distractions. You know, I'm just thinking about non-important things. I don't know what I was looking at. Maybe I was looking at if I have enough gas for 3 or 4 more, 5 more laps, whatever it was. So it's just, it's focus. And I gotta tell you, man, it gets harder the older you get. I'm not that old. I'm 48, but just like focusing for such a long time. I gotta figure out if there's some kind of natural stuff that I can take to help with that, because I find myself distracted at work as well. So that's something that I gotta figure out. Yeah, and then I kind of had a little bit of a battle there with Colin. At least he ended up taking himself out as well. And I couldn't.
No,
make
and
it up.
it's tricky. I mean, that I've caught myself doing that before too. I think it was last week. My wife started calling me, and I had my phone on the rig, and then I was like distracted because it kept ringing, and I'm like, and I looked down, and then I'm like, okay, don't make a mistake now. And of course, I spun. Right. I mean, that was like the first spin that I had of the race, that kind of started the snowball that went kind of from there, and yeah, it's very easy to have attention management issues because you can't have your attention on multiple things no matter how much you think you can, and that's definitely the challenge to make sure that you have the ability to just like block that out and get focused again. It's definitely not the easiest thing in the world all the time. So
no, I'll work on that. That's definitely.
But I think you're improving on it.
But it is. I agree.
I think you are. I mean, your consistency is rather good, and you know, it's coming down to like one mistake in a race that's costing you time or whatever, but it's not as bad as it could be, right? I mean, if you could be having many multiple mistakes, but like looking at where you're at, I think you're doing all the right things, and then to me it appears the improvement is there. So we just got to keep whittling away on that little focus stuff and that kind of stuff, and see if there's ways